Namaste to all. In the previous several videos on the topic of Neo Vedanta, I had tried to clarify that Neo Vedanta is illogical and also anti-Vedic. I was seeing one of the video in YouTube recently where they had referred to the Mundaka Upanishad Shloka 1 by 1 by 7, where they mentioned about Yathornanabihi Srijate Ghrunate cha. Urnanabihi means spider. The person was telling that just as a spider which brings nothing from outside but draws the net or the web from within it, similarly Almighty God creates the world out of Himself and appearing Himself in the form of the world. And this is His Yoga Maya, etc. This was explained in that channel. So I just wanted to clarify here about this example and also prove that this example also proves that the Vedas are right and the Neo Vedanta is wrong. If we try to observe with a neutral mentality, we can clearly understand that the current Vedanta, the present Neo Vedanta, is totally anti-Vedic and illogical. The present Vedanta says that this entire universe is Brahman. You are Brahman, I am Brahman, the table, the chair, the aeroplane, whatever we see in this world, the tree, the plant, the building, everything is Brahman. And in fact, it also says that the soul itself is Brahman. Soul is now in ignorance. The moment the ignorance is removed by an Acharya's advice, then the soul realizes that its soul itself is Almighty God. This is what the Vedanta speaks about, which is totally, absolutely false and illogical. Vedas speaks about three eternal entities or three eternal matters. Almighty God is eternal, Swayambhu. The Jivatma, the souls, are eternal, Swayambhu. And Prakriti, the non-alive matter from which this universe gets created by Almighty God, is also eternal or Swayambhu. This is mentioned in Yajurveda 2 by 26, in Rigveda 10th Mandal 129 Sukta, and also in Yajurveda 40 by 8, God says that God is Swayambhu. God does not transform Himself to this world because there is no necessity to do that. There is no need for God to get into pleasures, displeasures, happiness, sadness, sukh, dukh, etc., etc., to convert Himself into soul and then again realizing that no, I am God. This kind of drama does not exist in the Vedic philosophy. That we have to clearly understand. So when we come to the example of creation, the example to understand creation is a pot. A potter is making a pot from a clay. The mud is the material cause. The raw material of the pot is mud. The potter who is making the clay is the efficient cause or the agental cause. In Sanskrit they call as Nimit Karan. In Sanskrit they call the mud as Upadan Karan. Upadan Karan is the raw material. The Nimit Karan or the agental cause or the efficient cause is the person who makes the pot from the mud. And of course there are auxiliary causes like equipment to make the pot, the wheel, the time, space, etc., etc., are the auxiliary cause. So no creation can be made without the material cause and the agental cause at least. There has to be a creator, there has to be a raw material to create it. So that is what Veda says. This universe is created out of the non-alive Prakriti, which is the Upadan Karan or the material cause. And God is the agental cause or the efficient cause who creates the world out of Prakriti, from Prakriti. So people cleverly quote the example of Mundaka Upanishad 1 by 7 and say that just like spider is converting its body into the web and later on the web is also destroyed by the spider itself, this world is getting converted by Almighty God, and finally the world gets destroyed and goes back to Almighty God. Now we have to understand in the spider case what is the raw material, what is the material cause, and what is the agental cause or what is the efficient cause. The material cause, the Upadan Karan in the spider case, is the body of the spider. See, the spider is an alive spider. That means there is a soul inside the spider. If the spider is a dead one, it cannot make its own web. So the body of the spider is creating the web. From the body, the web is created. And the efficient cause, the creator of the web, is not the body, it is the soul of the spider. So there is a different agent called a soul and the body. Both are different. The body is non-alive matter, the web is non-alive matter, whereas the soul of the spider is the alive matter in this case. Similarly, the universe is non-alive matter. The soul of the universe, Almighty God, is the alive matter. And why God creates the universe? Unless there is a universe, we mean souls. Souls cannot sustain. Souls cannot realize its original form. We need our human body. We need our senses. We need our perceptions. We need our mind. We need our intellect, etc., etc., etc. of the world, so that we can do tapasya, or we can do our karmas, or we can enjoy the happiness of our previous janma karmas, or sadness of the previous janma papas. This is the concept of the Vedas. Whereas Vedanta says that God himself converts into the world. Why would God do that? So we have to always understand Upanishads from a neutral standpoint. Of course, this is not my knowledge. Whatever knowledge I have learned from my Acharya. My Acharya has written a book called Vedanta and Eternal Vedas Philosophy in 2 parts. One of the most interesting book one can ever study. This contains question and answers, or shastrat, between 2 people. One is my Acharya Swami Ram Swarup Yogacharya. The other one is somebody who is arguing with my Acharya. So if we read this book, we can understand. It's a very old book, maybe 30 years old book. In Hindi, the same concepts have been explained by my Acharya in a book called Vedon Se Jarata Sanatan Satya. So if we read the version of the Vedic philosopher, we will understand what is material cause, what is agental cause or efficient cause, why God cannot convert himself into this world. For example, if God gets converted himself into this world, the world has to have the quality of Almighty God. Vaisheshik Shastra says, Karana Gunapurvakaha Karya Guno Drishtaha. That means the qualities of the material cause persistent in the effect also. For example, God converts himself to this world. The world will have qualities of Almighty God. For example, the world will be formless. The world will be eternal. Nobody will die in the world. Nobody will be sorrow in the world. Because God is ever blissful. So everybody in the world should be ever blissful. These are not the qualities what we see in the world. We see the world is inert, whereas God is not inert. God is Chetan Tattva. God is sentient being. We see the world insentient or yet inert being. So there has to be a material cause which is inert. From that inert being, that is Jada Tattva, this universe is created, which is also Jada Tattva. That Jada Tattva, the original raw material, is called as Prakriti in the Vedas, in Rig Veda. And God says in the Vedas that Prakriti is not created by me, it is uncreated, it is eternal. Basic form, when we go into science also, some things are uncreated. Energy is ever uncreated. Mass is uncreated. It gets transformed, but it is uncreated. These kind of fundamental principles we have to understand and link it to the Vedic philosophy. So always listen Upanishad from an Acharya who has attained Samadhi. Otherwise, we will get into the trap of Maya. We will get into the trap of the Neo Vedanta. And we say that, okay, this idol is Almighty God. You are Almighty God. Everything is Almighty God. You worship air, water, sea, sun, moon. Everything is okay because everything is Almighty God. If you are Almighty God, why you want to worship anything as Almighty God? This is also another question. So we have to always stick to the basics. Otherwise, we will get lost into the Vedanta sorrowful river or sorrowful ocean of Vedanta. Once we get lost into this ocean of sorrow, then we can never get a human birth. People quote that, are you so intelligent than Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya? No, I've never told that. Shankaracharya is one of the most intelligent people. He is a wise person. But unfortunately, the books which are written by some people have been named as, okay, this is written by Shankaracharya. After he went to heavenly abode, that means after his death, many books have been written on his name. Whereas Shankaracharya, being a Vedic philosopher, can never even think against Vedas. This has to be clearly understood. If we read the book Light of Truth by Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati, we can understand what happened to Shankaracharya and what was the next story after Shankaracharya, what happened, why so many books have been written, etc., etc., is clarified by him. I hope this video also helped you. Thank you so much. Namaste. Om.